We are 3 minutes away from beginning our second game of the day here. We're going to have Mob City in white going up against Wasatch in red. And in white, Mob City, number 15, Bella Bomblet, number 25, Apex Twin, number 30, Maya Sora, 727 Fluttershy, 808 Twilight, 828 Lunar, number 9, Black Hole, 911 Macada, number 99, Slam Punk, 666 Waffles, 202 Fatal Air, 462 Barracuda, 151 Beetle Kill, 7797 Dash, and 015 Violent Beatrix.
And in the red jerseys for Wasatch, we have 024 Zen, 101 Bad Cop, 11 Fast Phantom, 115 Chameleon, 138 Crimson Slayer, 142 Mockingbird, 2 Echo, 2014 Circus, 23 Brawly Pop, 2319 Roller Reina, 505 Smash and Dash, 789 Stormy Sea, 813 Mullet, 84 Chemical X, and 919 Feline Feisty. And our officials for Game 2 today, Whamdolph, Dr. Boom, Whamdolph again, Megabeth, Cold Gin, Joysticks, Radar, Myth, Colonel Skirts, Roman Candle, Saren Gasp, Kiss Off, Roll Ray, I Watching You, Sassy B Arch, I Call Shenanigans, Data, and Bionic.
It's 60 seconds before we get ready to go. Keep in mind, there is going to be one more game today, and it is going to be Pepper versus Salt. It's going to be a matchup of all the teams that have been playing here at the Bonneville Beatdown, so definitely want to stay and watch all the Mob City, Wasatch, Denver players go at it one more time before we wrap up the Bonneville Beatdown to 2026. Okay, the team's taking the track right now with their starting lineups. Looks like Apex Twin, number 25 in white, the captain of Mob City. Going to be starting Jammer up against Zen in red for Wasatch. Right, rolling whistle, getting us underway. Second of 3 games today. Apex takes to the inside, hit out by Chemical X. Zen trying to go to the outside, stuck behind a difficult tripod. Zen driven out on the or Apex Twin driven out by Zen on the outside, but Apex Twin recovers quickly. Gets around, is your lead jammer at our first jam. Slides out to the outside after taking a hit. Does Apex Twin. trying to score some points here, calling that off. They did get all 4 points for Mob City before calling off. So we have ourselves a 4-0 game at the end of jam number 1.
And Fast Phantom will be jamming for Wasatch, going up against Slam Punk for Mob City. And the defenders shuffle places, and off they go. Slam Punk crashes into the Wasatch wall. Fast Phantom trying to shove through the middle of that wall of Mob City. Both jammers getting held pretty well by those defenders. A lot of side-to-side lateral movement as they try to squeak out an opening in the walls. Slam Punk shoving hard against those last couple defenders for Wasatch. Looks like they're holding at bay, but Slam Punk made it through. Slam Punk's going to be the lead jammer. And around the horn here into the pack to try to score some points. Zip around to the outside. And looks like Slam Punk did make it past. Got all 4 points there. Fast Phantom still held up by those defenders. Getting recycled back here to the pivot line. Good defense by Wasatch, slowing down Mob City's jammer there. And we've got a star pass. Bad Cop takes off, running fast, and Mob City quickly calls off the jam.
All right, heading into jam number 3, Roller Arena in red for Wasatch. Going up against number 30 for Mob City, Mayasora. Mob City will start with 1 blocker in the penalty box. So slight advantage here to Wasatch. Opting for a 2-on-2 defense as it starts out. Mob City with a good tripod, holding back Roller Arena momentarily, but only until Roller Arena switches to the outside track and gets through for lead. Mayasora seeing room on the inside, gets it through the pack. Now on for points is Roll Arena. Hits the blocker, keeps on moving. Now scoring some points. Mayasora coming in, scoring some points of their own as Roll Arena is drawn back, shoving the opposing pivot out of their way to get through for 4. But Mayasora also made it through for 4 as well. So we have ourselves a 4-4 wash of a third jam.
And Makeda is going to be a jammer for Mob City, against Chemical X for Wasatch. And looks like Mob City's going to be starting 1 defender down. And there's the whistle. A little hesitation at the start, but now the jammers are off. Makeda weaving in and out, trying to get past this wall. Chemical X is stuck behind the tight wall of Mob City. Both teams' defense doing really well, keeping those jammers from getting past. Makeda trying to squeeze through in between players. Can't find an opening yet. Side to side, little help from the blocker coming out of the penalty box, and Makeda is going to be the lead jammer. Chemical X getting nudged around and recycled out of bounds. Makeda spins through the inside lane, past 2 defenders for 4 more points. And Mob City is on the run now. Wasatch still held up. Got a star pass, but Mob City's going to call off the jam.
Hey, Mob City taking a 21-4 lead early in our first half here. Apex Twin back out for Mob City, going up against Zen of Wasatch. Both jammers lining up to the outside track, but quickly juking and weaving around, trying to find some spots. Crimson Slayer with a big hit, but goes down themselves, and that allows Apex Twin to get up and keep going for lead. But Zen is out of the pack. Both jammers on their scoring run. Trying to make an Apex jump is Apex Twin, but does not quite land it. They're being drawn back. Zen being drawn back themselves now. Crimson Slayer again getting in Apex Twin's way before they can clear the pack. Both jammers have definitely scored some points on these teams, but have yet to free themselves of the pack around turn number 2. This jam is still going on. Apex Twin makes it out first. Zen going down, collapsing against 202. That was Fatal Air of Mob City. Apex Twin gets hit out, calls it off. All 4 points were scored by Zen on that. And looks like we're going to have a team timeout here called by Wasatch. I think Mob City was held scoreless on that last scoring run, so it looks like it's going to just be a 4-4 each on jam number 5.
And we'll take this quick opportunity to thank our sponsors, the Pie Pizzeria, been a longtime sponsor of roller derby in Salt Lake, 187 Killer Pads, the Derby Warehouse, and Dick's Sporting Goods. Great sponsors helping these young people continue an awesome sport. I think it'll be interesting to see how things go for Wasatch this game. They did play in the previous game, the first game of the day, against a team from Denver. So I'm impressed that these folks still have gas in the tank. All right, off they go. Mullet is plowing ahead for Wasatch. Slam Punk falls down in a heap with some defenders. Mullet's made it through. Mullet's going to be the lead jammer. And Slam Punk getting tossed around a little bit, but looking for an opening. Slam Punk almost got it. There we go. Slam Punk's got an opening. And on a scoring pass now. Mullet with some fancy footwork got through the pack for 4 points for Wasatch. And Slam Punk slams into the wall of defenders, makes it through for some points. Mullet gets tied up there on the outside and decides to end the jam before Slam Punk can get any more points out.
All right, team captain Chameleon of Wasatch out there with the jam star going up against number 30, Maya Sora, out once again for Mob City. And we have a clear penalty box. Chameleon to the outside, but knocked back out. Recycled around quickly back in. Maya Sora looking to try to blast it away past the Wasatch line, but not before Chameleon can get that lead jammer. Clear of the pack now is Maya Sora. Chameleon coming around for that scoring run. Both teams set up around turn number 2. Hard hit into the pack. Gets their 4 points, calls it off. Does Chameleon 4-0 jam.
Quick jam there as Wasatch shrinks that lead just a little bit. Gonna have Roll Arena jamming up with Makeda for Mob City. And they are off. Makeda dodging to the inside and plastered up against Wasatch's pivot. Roll Arena is trying to blast through the middle of the wall of defenders. pushing hard, trying to get through, and they're doing a great job keeping Reina back. Both jammers go to the ground, but get back up. Makeda's trying to squeeze through the inside there. Can't find an opening yet. Number 919 coming in for Wasatch for a little bit of help. And with that, the penalty box is cleared. Roller Reina stumbles through and gets the lead jammer. And Makeda is still trying to find an opening in this wall of Wasatch. There, Makeda's found it. So Makeda's on a scoring pass. Roller Reina's right up into the pack, made it through to get 4 points. And they are rolling on down. Makeda spins past the pivot, Wasatch, and gets 4 points of their own. Pack's on the move now. Roller Reina's going to try to weave through. Bounces off a couple defenders and calls the jam off from the ground. Looks like 6 points for Wasatch out of that one and 4 for Mob City.
All right, mull it out for Wasatch. No, looks like we're going to be doing a jammer switch. Oh, no, the Wasatch jammer is starting in the penalty box, so power jam opportunity here for Mob City. Apex Twin with the star. Whistle sends us off. Apex Twin switches to the outside quickly. Stays out there, one more to beat, and gets their lead. So far, penalty start opportunity going well in their favor. Slams hard into the Wasatch tripod, bringing all the way back by Brawley Pop. Brawley Pop right there to meet them. Apex Twin doing some juking to try to get around. Gets around the whole pack. 4 points, Mob City. Roller Reina out on the track for Wasatch with the Jam Star. Getting some help from Mullet, and they are now through the pack. Apex Twin signaling to her defenders what they want. Brawley Pop sacrificing their body in there, holding them scoreless at that last scoring run. So sacrifice well worth it. 4 points up for Mob City in that jam.
So Chameleon is jamming for Wasatch, and looks like we got Slam Punk up again for Mob City. Mob City defenders are right on the line. Wasatch settles in. They're off. Slam Punk bouncing around between defenders. Chameleon gets nudged out a little bit. And big hit by Wasatch, bringing Slam Punk way back to the jam line. Both jammers still fighting to get through. Slam Punk's got it. Slam Punk is through. On the inside is the lead jammer. There's Chameleon, found an opening on the outside lane. Both jammers on a scoring pass now, and the pack is moving. Slam Punk gets up there. I think might have gotten a couple points out and called the jam off. 2 points it was for Slam Punk, so adding a little bit at a time to that lead for Mob City.
Yeah, 39-25, still a very close game as we go into jam number 11. Mullet out there for Wasatch, going up against 30 number again. Mysore once again for Mob City. Mob City lines up right at that jam line, hoping to stop Mullet right at the start. Mullet goes to the outside, makes it through for lead. Mysore, though, seeing some room. One more to beat. Gets through the pack, does Mysore, just as Mullet is coming around on their scoring run. Apex jump, lands it. 4 points for Wasatch. Calling that one off. It's keeping Mob City scoreless. So now we have ourselves a 10-point game.
And the penalty box is empty, so we're going to have full set of blockers and jammers on the track. Looks like Makeda jamming for Mob City and Roller Reina for the home team, Wasatch. And the defenders settle on back against the line. And off go the jammers. Makeda trying to find room on the inside lane. Blocked out by Bad Cop. Rollerena found some space on the outside lane, so they're going to be lead jammer, but spinning and dodging Makeda's made it through also. So both jammers on a scoring pass. Let's see what they can do with it. Here comes Rollerena into the pack. Flying, falling, calling off the jam. Three points for Wasatch out of that one. But it looks like there was a penalty assessed for Wasatch pivot, so they are headed to the box, giving Mob City a bit of an advantage here at the start.
Yeah, two defenders of Wasatch sitting in the box. Apex Twin out there for Mob City going up against Chameleon. Apex makes short work of getting lead. Chameleon stays on their feet, stays in bounds, and gets free of the pack. Nice offensive block there by, make sure I get the number right, 666. That was Waffles, allowing Apex Twin to get that left final point by sacrificing their body offensively.
I think that jam was quick enough that the Wasatch defenders are still in the penalty box there, so we got Brawly Pop jamming for Wasatch and Slam Punk up for Mob City. There they go. Both go look to the inside lane. Brawly Pop zigzagging, trying to get past, shake off those defenders. Slam Punk found opening there, so Slam Punk is going to be the lead jammer. Brawly Pop is bouncing off of these defenders left and right. They've got it recycled way back. And Slam Punk slips through for 4 points. And lickety split back to the pack again. Bounced off a friendly teammate there. Brawly Pops finally made it through, so on a scoring pass, trying to get that cap back on their head, because you can't score points if the cap isn't on. But Slam Punk ends the jam with 4 points for Mob City.
All right, Mayasora and Mullet once again out there. A little bit of a jammer duel between those two here. One in the box for Mob City. Both jammers crashing in. Mullet to the outside. Takes a hit, stays on, keeps going, has lead. Maya clears the pack just as Mullet is making their scoring run. On through for 4 is Mullet. Calling it off, holding Mob City scoreless on this run. And we have ourselves a 13-point game. Mob City still holding lead, but Wasatch threatening every single jam.
And Mob City can by no means be comfortable with that lead. 13 points can disappear pretty fast in roller derby. Here we've got Smash and Dash jamming for Wasatch and Makeda for Mob City. Off they go. Makeda nudges out of bounds in the inside. Smash and Dash is trying to just smash through the center of the defenders. And they are doing a great job holding Smash and Dash back. Makeda zigzagging, trying to get past the wall of Wasatch. Little help from 462 to get by. Bad Cop says not today. They're sandwiching Makeda between defenders up there. Smash and Dash is stuck between the two butts of the Mob City wall. And in the meantime, Makeda found an opening and is the lead jammer. And here they go. Into the pack. Swings around the outside. Zip to the inside. One defender left. Makeda's got a... Oh, that's not a defender. That is the jammer, Smash and Dash. So, both jammers are on scoring passes now, but Makeda's in control with lead jam status. Flying jump for Smash and Dash, but didn't quite get past the defenders. Makeda's going to call off the jam. 8 points for Mob And and 3, looks like, for Wasatch.
All right, our next jam's going to be underway here. It is going to be a power start in favor of Mob City. Apex Twin out there. They were the jammer last time there was a power start opportunity and able to make 4 points out of it. So let's see what they can do here. Wasatch doing a pretty good job containing a Raider out that pivot line, though. See if they can maintain that. Apex to the outside, trying to stay in. No, is going to have to be brought back. And no, there is a penalty on that, so that'll send them to the penalty box. That'll free up Wasatch's jammer. So smash and dash there. Going in once again. Getting some help. Looks like some bodies falling on the floor there. Crimson Slayer trying to provide some offensive help there. More bodies going down at turn number 3. Everybody kind of getting back up and reset once again. Smash and dash, trying to work hard against number 15, Bella Bomblet. Apex Twin now back out of the track. Quick moves to the outside, and they are through. This jam going the full 2 minutes, so there's just 45 seconds left in this clock. So there is still time for both these teams to put some points on the board. Apex making their way through on the inside, stepping over and on through. Smash and dash trying to crash their way through that Mob City line. Nobody notices Apex getting through for 4 more. Looks like we have a high block call. That'll send Lunar to the box for Mob City. And a nice star pass, Crimson Slayer, just as Apex Twin misses that Apex jump. Final seconds of the jam. Let's see what these teams can do. Scoring 1 more point does Apex Twin. Time ran out before Crimson could make it there. And right now we have ourselves a 66-39 game as Wasatch calls a team timeout. That'll give both these teams a minute to kind of regroup and get some breathers in after a tough 2-minute jam there.
Really intense jams. Both teams have excellent defense, making those jammers work for every single point. And folks, if you like roller derby and you are going to be here in the Valley in 2 weeks, we've got one of the adult home team games scheduled for 2 weeks from today. Well, minus a day. It's Beehive Skate Revolution on the 28th of March, their first game of the season. And we've got an official timeout.
Yeah, 8 minutes, 29 seconds left in this first half. So it's been a lot of intense action here. I'm sure both of these teams are appreciating the little bit of time they get to collect themselves here. Keep in mind, we do have one more game after this one that is slotted to take place at 3:30. That is going to be Salt versus Pepper. That is going to be a mashup of all the teams that have been coming here at the Bonneville Beatdown. So that should be a lot of fun to watch. Again, that is scheduled for 3:30.
Mullet is going to be wearing the cap for Wasatch, and Slam Punk wearing the star for Mob City. Defenders come right up to the line here for the start. There's the whistle. Off they go. Mullet goes down in a pile up with a bunch of skaters, and Slam Punk takes advantage of it and goes through as the lead jammer. Mullet fighting to get through now. And looks like Wasatch has been able to slow down Slam Punk. Little help from the pivot, though, on Mob City. Breaks up the defenders just enough for Slam Punk to get through for 4 more points. And Mullet's fighting hard to get past these defenders from Mob City. They've got a tight wall and no openings for him. He found a little spot on the inside, though. Tiptoe and spin around. Mullet is through and on a scoring pass. And they're going to call the end of that jam before Mullet can even get back to the pack. So a quick 6 points for Mob City, pushing that lead up just a little bit more.
Right, Maya Sora back out against there, going up against Roll Arena. So, new jammer to try to square off against for these two. I don't think they've faced off against each other yet this game. Both switch momentarily to the inside. Roll Arena now up front, shoving, trying to get through a very tough tripod. Maya Sora doing some weaving room. Just as Roll Arena is being brought back by Bella Bomblet, met by 202 of Mob City. That was fatal error. And it is Maya Sora that is through for lead. On scoring run is Mob City, running right into a teeth of a Wasatch tripod. Roll Arena still trying to shove on through, gets it, and they are out. No, there's going to be a cut track call, maybe a cut track call. So Maya Sora has the track to themselves for 30 seconds. Slams hard into the tripod, but Stormy C is right there to block it. Takes a couple steps back up, tries again, gets on through for 4 points. Maya's going to call that one off. That'll freeze Roll Arena in the penalty box, so a power start opportunity for Mob City.
Very strategic there. Call the jam off to keep Arena in the box here at the start. So we'll have Apex Twin jamming for Mob City. And we do have all 4 blockers for both teams, so just shy of a jammer here. That's the whistle. Apex Twin does some quick footwork on the inside lane and gets through his lead jammer. And Roll Arena is out of penalty land and into the fray. Dodging back and forth, trying to get past these defenders. Almost made it through on the inside, but nudged out by defenders. And Apex Twin took advantage of that opening for another 4 points. And here's Apex Twin again. Zipping on the outside lane. Little tippy-toe action and tiptoed out of bounds. They've got to come back to Bad Cop here. And off they go, though. Zipping to the outside. Inside. Hopped over the line. Apex Twin for another 4 points. And Mob City's doing a great job keeping that jammer contained from Wasatch. We've got a star pass. So Zen's going to be the jammer for Wasatch. Gets slammed out of bounds. And Zen is back up, trying again. Apex Twin casually gliding past those defenders for 4 more points. A little backward skating action there at the end. Coming around for another scoring pass. And Zen getting muscled out of bounds there. Recycled way back there. Apex Twin slips through for another 4 points and calls the jam off. Big 20-point jam for Mob City there, putting them at 100 points.
Yeah, been a close game, but I really extended the lead, so Wasatch is going to have to buckle down these last few minutes. They still got a whole nother half to get take over that lead, though, and they can do it. So Crimson Slayer out with the jam star up against Makeda. Crimson Slayer quick to the outside and on through for lead. Makeda to the inside and gets on through out of the pack. On a scoring run is Crimson. slams hard into the pack, calls it off. Did manage to score 1 point, did Crimson. So that's the kind of thing Wasatch is going to do and keep doing all game long to kind of chip away at that lead that Mob City has. And there's still 3 minutes left to go in this half and 30 minutes left to play afterwards. So yeah, keep watching on this one. This is going to be a fun, action-packed, hard-hitting game, as so far it has been.
I agree. Mullet and Slam Punk jamming. Mullet finds an opening, pushes through the defenders. Mullet's going to be the lead jammer, but look out. Here comes Slam Punk right on his heels. They are moving fast. Mullet's a quick skater, but Slam Punk is giving him a run for his money. Pack is moving. We've got a few people hitting the deck. Mullet gets through, going backwards, calls the jam off. Let's see if Slam Punk was able to squeeze any points out. Yes, indeed. So 4-4.
All right, quick jam. And we still have 2 minutes left to go. Roll Arena back out there against Myasora, so these two jammers are squaring off once again. Two full teams out there. Penalty box is clear. Roll Arena smashes into the tripod. Maya likewise up by the pivot line. Roll Arena is through for lead. Wasatch working on their comeback. Maya's through the pack. Nice gliding on through is Roll Arena for 4. Calls that one off. Making a quick, nice 4 points for Wasatch.
But it does look like the Wasatch pivot is starting off in the penalty box, so it's going to be a slight advantage here for Mob City. Both jammers sharing a quick little hug here before they get down to business. Crimson Slayer against Apex Twin. Defenders are right there, no breathing room at the get-go, and they are pushing hard back against these defenders. Stuck, and Crimson Slayer's doing a little jammer on jammer action though. Apex Twin though, slick feet, gets around those defenders and his lead jammer. Crimson hits the deck behind these defenders from Mob City, but back in quick as you like. Apex Slayer or Apex Twin with a spin move to get past the defenders. And coming around for another scoring attempt here. Slams right into the wall. Bounces off and keeps moving. We've got Wasatch's jammer in the penalty box, so it's Apex all alone in Jamtown. Gets through again for 4 more points. And the game time has ended, so Apex Twin is in control of when this half ends. Dodging, coming up against the Wasatch wall. Crimson Slayer's back from the penalty box and into play, smashing against the defenders. And that's the end of the jam. End of the half, folks. We're going to have a 15-minute break. Get a breather, get some concessions, get some merch, whatever you need to do. And we'll see you back here soon.
Yeah, 114-48 is your halftime score. Mob City's going to be looking to keep that lead going in the second half, and Wasatch is going to be coming back with the fury to take that away from them. So be sure to, in this short 15 minutes that we have here, to visit the concession stand and also pick up some Bonneville Beatdown merch. While you're there, remember this tournament's definitely worth remembering. And keep in mind, we have one more game after this one, slotted for 3:30, and that is going to be Salt versus Pepper. Going to be a mashup with all these teams here today and over this weekend. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch. So we'll see you back in 14 minutes now, and we'll hopefully see you all for Game 3 of the Bonneville Beatdown.
Alrighty, folks, that sound means it's time to get back to Derby. Mullet's wearing the star for Wasatch. Apex Twin for Mob City. Big pile of bodies there in the middle. And Apex Twin gets shoved hard out of bounds on the inside. And both jammers still trying to get through the defenses. Apex going side to side, trying to muscle through. Mullet found an opening, though, in the inside lane, so Mullet's going to be... No, Mullet is not the lead jammer, but is on a scoring pass nonetheless. So here he comes, zipping around the inside, flying Mullet over the apex for 4 points. Big points there for Wasatch. And Apex Twin is lead and calls off the jam before Mullet can do any more damage to the scoreboard.
All right, and that kind of jams what Wasatch is going to be looking for to repeat throughout this second half here. Roller Arena out there against Slam Punk. And we have an official timeout. Looks like they're about ready to get right back into it again. Yep. Rolling whistle, getting us back into restart, getting us restarted once again. Teams hurrying to get back into position. Mob City opting to start right at that jam line. Wasatch up at the pivot. Both teams holding back those jammers right now. Roller Arena knocked back out, being brought back. Slam Punk putting down a shoulder and trying to smash their way through a tripod, trying to make some progress. Getting some good help by his 808. That was Twilight with some offensive help. Twilight going to the penalty box, but they were able to get help Slam Punk get that lead position. Roller Arena through the pack as Slam Punk is scoring some points. They get all 4, call that one off. So far, both teams trading 4 points in these first 2 jams.
And Mullet's going to be jamming again for Wasatch. Looks like they are up against Mayasora for Mob City. And it looks like Mob City is down a blocker at the start here. Mullet with quick feet getting past the whole squad of defenders. So Mullet is going to be the lead jammer. Mayasora hits the deck but pops back up, trying to squeeze through the defenders. Here comes Mullet on the outside, crashes into the defenders, trying to get past those last 2. Spin, move around, and they had to let him go. So Mullet's got 4 points, but here comes Mayasora right on his heels. We've got pivot for Mob City headed to the penalty box. Mullet calls the jam off from out of bounds. Let's see if Mayasora was able to get some points out of that, though. I think they might have. Yes, indeed, all 4 points.
Yeah, Fluttershy with a hard hit there right at the end, but Wasatch still coming out on top of that one, 6-4.
Wow, looks like both pivots are in the penalty box here at the start.
All right, we have Fast Phantom going up against Makeda. So a little new jammer duel here between these two. I don't believe they faced off before yet. Makeda hit out up at the pivot line. Fast Phantom just a little bit behind there, but both teams setting up strong tripods for these jammers to try to get through. Crimson Slayer of Wasatch comes out, slams hard in to give some offensive help. Makeda being recycled back. Fast Phantom still trying to work their way through a tripod. And now that penalty box is clear. Makeda swings to the outside, but Crimson Slayer's right there to block hold them off. Fast Phantom, though, behind a tricky tripod of Mob City. Lead is still open as we're approaching 1 minute of a 2-minute jam here. So, yeah, come on, make some noise for these jammers here. They are killing it, trying to fight for that lead position. Makeda still manages to get through for lead. Couple of whistles on being announced, so some players going to be going to the penalty box here. Makeda on the scoring pass. A good team up there, the Crimson Slayer, and make sure can't gonna really make out the number of their first assisting, but doing a really good job of holding back Makeda for a bit. Crimson Slayer, though, is now going to transition from blocker to jammer. Makeda's going to call that one off. And Mob City's going to come up 8-0 after that exchange.
And penalty assessed there at the end of the jam. So we've got a blocker for Mob City starting out in the penalty box. And we've got an official timeout here. Looks like the officials just needed to sort something out. Looks like everyone's on the same page here, ready to get back into the action. Roller Rain is going to be jamming against Apex Twin, and those defenders are far, far away at the end of the straightaway at the start of this jam. So off they go. Apex Twin slams into the center, and huge opening for Roller Reina on the inside. Reina is the lead jammer. Apex Twin tries to hop over the Apex and lands inside of it, but quick as he likes, back for another attempt, and Reina flying over the gap also. So both jammers are on a scoring pass, but Reina's in control of the clock with lead jam and calls it off before Apex Twin can get to the pack. Quick little jam there. We've got 4 points for Wasatch out of it.
All right, Mullet versus Slam Punk for the jammers. Wasatch has all 4 out, and Mob City has all 4 blockers out. So penalty box is clear, and we are ready to go. Mob City starting right up at the jam line. Wasatch set up, but it is Mullet out first, able to get through. Made quick work to get that lead position. Now Slam Punk is through the pack just as Mullet reaches it for a scoring pass. Through for 4 is Mullet. And going to call that one off and hold that to a 4-0 jam in favor of Wasatch.
And Mob City is going to be starting shy 1 pivot there, and serving out the end of a penalty here at the beginning. We've got Crimson Slayer jamming for Wasatch. Mayasora up for Mob City. And big old gap between the jammers and the defenders at the start of the jam. So they are off. Mayasora pushes through the middle, and inside lane is the lead jammer, and we've got Crimson Slayer down. Looks like we've got an injury on the track. Slayer's up on her own skates to go sit with the medics there.
All right, game is back on. Roll Arena and Apex Twin, your jammers for this one. So looks like Mob City having some penalty trouble. Only 2 defenders out there. Gives a little bit of advantage for Wasatch. Apex Twin opting to do some defense here. Nice move. I believe that was Fluttershy knocking out Roll Arena, be bringing them back. Apex Twin now trying to fight to try to get that lead. Swings to the outside, crashes into 2 Wasatch players.
Looks like Reina got a penalty on that.
And now Wasatch with a nice regrouping up at turn number 1 to hold back Apex Twin. Roll Arena in the penalty box. So this is going to be a penalty jam for Mob City. Apex Twin has faced penalty jam advantages before and made some pretty good work of them. So let's see what they can do here. Roll Arena back out on the track though, so we are back at a full strength. And now it is Apex Twin going to the box. So Roll Arena is going to have an advantage here. 30 seconds for Wasatch to do some work. But Mob City is not going to make that easy. Great 2-on-2 blocking right there by Mob City. I believe that was Bella Bomblet and Barracuda.
And got an injury. Reina went down hard there on the last play.
All right, unfortunately, quickly back up. They're just going to spend some time in the medical box to make sure everything's okay. And we're going to have an official timeout here. I believe that it may have initially been called for an injury. Officials may be talking over the end of that one and see how the next jam here sets itself up. As things are right now, there may be a bit of a power start advantage for Wasatch, but we'll see if that holds true as we begin here. See what the officials have been talking about and if that will affect jam number 9 coming up. We're almost 10 minutes through our second half of our game here. All right, rolling whistle gets us back underway. 3 defenders out there for Mob City, also minus a jammer. So we have a power start for Mullet and Wasatch. Nice offensive work by Wasatch, and Mullet is right on through for a lead. Getting knocked out to the outside is Mullet, just as Apex Twin re-enters the track. Mullet takes a hit, stays on their feet, gets through for 4. Apex looking to break free of the pack, and does. Mullet coming around for another penalty, or another scoring run. Teams racing forward. Mullet calls that one off just as they were brought out by Lunar onto the outside. And see if looks like they got 6 total points on that jam. So Wasatch now See, 60-point game, it appears to be. Mob City up 132 to 72.
And Wasatch is down a blocker here at the beginning of this next jam. Makeda jamming for Mob City. Going against Chameleon for Wasatch. And we got whistles on the track. Both jammers still fighting to get through while we see what happens. Looks like Makeda ended up getting a penalty on that last little skirmish there, so headed to the penalty box. Chameleon takes another swing at it. Down to the last defender, makes it past. Chameleon's going to be the lead jammer. And coming around the horn for a scoring run now. And into the pack. There they go. Slides to the outside and out of bounds. So Chameleon's got to go back to the back of the pack. And trying here to get past. Big hit there by 727. Fluttershy taking all the wind out of Chameleon's sails, and that's the end of the jam there. But they did manage to get 3 points out of it for Wasatch, so chipping away slowly at that lead.
All right, Slam Punk versus Crimson Slayer. Penalty box is clear. Bad Cop providing some offense right at the beginning to try to help out Crimson. Crimson caught behind a tripod, but so is Slam Punk up at the pivot line. And then that is Lunar of Mob City going to the penalty box. So that's going to help out Wasatch, and Crimson takes advantage of that and gets lead. Slam still held up around turn number 1, but gets through. Crimson coming around, makes a nice apex jump, lands it, calls it off. And I believe all 4 points on that one, yes.
Oh, looks like there was a penalty there assessed to Crimson. Crimson is going to be starting this jam off in the penalty box, but we've got an official timeout.
Let's see if those points are going to count or not. Only 2 points, no?
That sound means the official timeout is over. Got defenders, 4 defenders up for Wasatch. And 4 up for Mob City. So off they go. 1 jammer on the track. Trying to use their defender as a battering ram and got knocked out of bounds by Bad Cop. Lunar's back in from penalty land and immediately goes in to provide some support for their jammer. Mayasora bouncing around. Quick feet gets past the defenders though, and Mayasora is the lead jammer as a couple Wasatch defenders hit the deck. They're back up and in position. And now Crimson Slayer is back. Mayasora flying over the apex. Makes it for 4 points, and Crimson Slayer tried the same, but didn't quite make it, it looks like. So Slayer's got to take another stab at it, and Mayasora is here. Swings to the outside, using the blocker as a shield, and gets past again for 4 more points and calls off the jam. Great work by those defenders making holes for the jammers to get through.
All right, as we get our next jam underway, we'll be at our final 15 minutes of the game. Right now we have a score of 140 to 77, Mob City up. And we'll have Apex Twin versus Mullet. All right, Wasatch opting to stay up at that pivot line as Mob City's right up at the jam line. two jammers very difficult to take off their feet and to stop their momentum. So we'll see which one comes out a lead here. One more to beat up on top, and Apex Twin is out, but Mullet right behind. And now does it? No, is a power jam for Wasatch. So Mullet is lead jammer, so they control the clock. Let's see what they can do with this 30-second advantage that they've been given. Mullet, one more to beat. Twilight up on top, though, stops them. And no, Mullet will be sent to the box. That'll free up Apex Twin. Keep in mind, the jammer will only have to spend as much time in the penalty box as the previous jammer did. So Mullet could be back out here fairly quickly. Apex Twin with a lot of speed, making up for lost time, racing around turn number 2, and it's out of the pack. On their scoring run now is Apex. Mullet back out on the track, going for an Apex jump, doesn't land it. Gonna be sent back behind a Mob City tripod. Apex Twin stuck around turn number 2. Mullet, though, with a spin move, gets on through for 4. It'll toast out trouble for Apex, but they're back out on the track now. Mullet on another scoring pass and is brought back out and gonna have to be recycled. And no, it looks like a cut track on Apex Twin will send them back to the box. So another advantage for Wasatch to make up some points here, and they are doing just that. 4 more for Mullet. And that ends the jam.
And with Mob City's jammer in the penalty box, we have an official review. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, official review called by Mob City. So as before, we will let you know when we know what's going on.
We take this time to thank our sponsors, the Pie Pizzeria. They've been voted Utah's best pizza, providing top quality handmade pizza, salad, subs, and more for 40 years. So stop on by there right after this tournament here. 187 Killer Pads and the Derby Warehouse, and also Dick's Sporting Goods for their donation to Wasatch Junior Roller Derby. And Wasatch Junior Roller Derby is going to have another tournament March 28th through the 29th, but that'll be an away game in Fontana. So unfortunately not here at the Derby Depot. However, that same weekend, March 28th, Beehive Skate Revolution will be having a home team game right here at the Depot. So if you are a local, you'll definitely want to stop by and watch some more Derby action if you're not out watching these juniors tear it up in Fontana. And we will have one more game after this one to close out the Bonneville beatdown. That is slotted for a 3:30 start time. That is going to be Pepper versus Salt, and that is going to be a mashup game between all these skaters that have attended this Bonneville beatdown. So that is going to be a lot of fun to watch. It's going to be a lot of fun to call for me. So you definitely want to stick around and cheer on these players as they give one last full-out effort here at the Bonneville beatdown. Yeah, do not want to miss the more Derby action that we have coming up here. All right, a decision has been made, and Mob City has lost their challenge, so they lose their official review for the rest of this game. Wasatch still has one team timeout remaining and their official review. Mob City still has all three team timeouts remaining.
And
All right, we are right back into it. Roller Arena with a powered start opportunity. Glides on through for lead, making it look smooth, even though it was anything but, I'm sure. The Mob City defenders have been very difficult. Coming in again is Roller Arena, now for points. Big hit. That was Beetle Kill with the hit. However, 1 point was managed to score by Roller Arena, and that is going to give Wasatch another power start.
And it'll be Crimson Slayer all alone at the jam line to start. Well, not quite alone because Mob City's defenders are right there meeting her at the line. So there's the whistle. And Slayer shoving, trying to get past, and does get past for lead jammer. And Apex Twin is back from penalty land, tiptoeing on the inside lane and gets through the pack. So both jammers here on scoring grounds, and Slayer calls the jam off before Apex Twin can get close to the pack. It's like 3 points out of that one for
Wasatch has been clawing their way back up, and there is time on the clock to overtake that lead. But I'm sure Mob City will not make it easy for them at all. But Wasatch is going to fight all the way to the end on this thing. Mullet out there for Wasatch up against Slam Punk. Mullet slams into the tripod. Slam Punk likewise into Wasatch. Oh, we have a penalty that is going to send one of the Mob City defenders to the bench, and Mullet's going to take advantage of that for it to get lead. This is the kind of thing that Wasatch has been working at these last few jams here, has been getting that lead and scoring these points here to take that lead. Mullet through for 4. Tough tripod Wasatch is set up for Slam Punk at around turn number 1. They are free now, just as Chameleon of Wasatch gets sent to the box. Mullet, though, 4 more points, calls it off. 8-0 for Wasatch.
So we're going to have Roller Arena jamming for Wasatch, Makeda for Mob City, and I believe just the Wasatch pivot is in the penalty box at the start here. And the defenders settle in up against the line. There's the whistle. Arena takes a hard hit from number 15, but stays with it. Pushing hard, Reina out in the lead. Reina's got through his lead jammer, but look out, here comes Makeda for Mob City. Pack is on the move a little bit. They've slowed down now, and here comes Reina approaching for a scoring pass. Weaving in and out of defenders, but held up a bit here by 808, I think that was. And Reina calls the jam off from the ground. Let's see if Makeda squoze some points out. Yes, indeed. The whole 4.
Yeah, way to just keep on sprinting through and able to score all 4 points and come up 1 ahead against Wasatch, even though Wasatch had that lead there. So definitely showing why you don't give up until that final whistle. Crimson Slayer out there going up against number 30, Maya Sora. Crimson to the outside, Maya to the inside. Looks like we have some penalties early. That'll send the pivot of Mob City to the box. Maya is out for lead, though, but Crimson is chasing them down. We're going to be slamming into the pack. We're going to have a track cut call. Let's see who that is against. I don't know if it was on one of the jammers. See who ends up in the box. Oh, okay. Looks like one of the Wasatch blockers is in the box. And 1 point for Mob City. 49-point game. Wasatch has been coming back. It was much bigger lead than that. They still can do this. They still can take it.
And both teams are down a blocker at the start here. Mullet is pushing hard, goes to the inside. Apex Twin swings to the outside. Both defenses doing an excellent job slowing these jammers down. Mullet with a little spin move gets through as the lead jammer. Apex Twin slams up against Bad Cop, still stuck behind those Wasatch defenders. But Apex Twin made it through. Little hop, skip, and a jump for Mullet to get 4 points. And down around the bottom of the horn here. And off they go. Let's see. Apex Twin slams into Bad Cop. And does make it through for some points. Mullet made it through as well. And Mullet calls the jam off. Eight points for Wasatch on that one to 4 from Mob City.
Make some noise here for Wasatch as they're making their way back up to take lead. There's still time on the clock for them to do so. Roll Arena out there going up against, make sure I get this right, Slam Punk, yes. Both jammers off to a quick start. Slamming into the respective defenders right up at the pivot line. Big scrum right up there now. It's Slam Punk. No, being stopped. But no, the Bad Cop went down, so Slam Punk just able to get right back up and re-enter. Roll Arena now stuck behind a difficult Mob City wall. Slam Punk's got moves, gets on through for 4. Roll Arena on through the pack. No, track cut on Roll Arena. This is going to be a big advantage for Mob City. Nice move to the outside. Good offense. Following their offense very well. And keep in mind, the Mob City team is made up of some Denver players as well. So these people have not exactly been playing together for training together, and they're able to communicate very well here. Slam Punk, fine, trying to get them through. Really good one-on-one blocking by Brawley Pop to slow them down, and the rest of the Wasatch tripod catches up. Roll Arena back out on the track, trying to fight their way through a vicious Mob City tripod. Slam Punk on through for 4 more. That is called off, and not before 12 total points, 7 scored by Mob City, holding Wasatch scoreless on that jam. And we are under 5 minutes left.
We have Makeda lining up to jam against Crimson Slayer. Empty penalty box. And that's the whistle. Makeda looking to the inside, swings to the outside. And Crimson Slayer found an opening on the inside lane for lead jam. Here comes Makeda though. Great spin move down to one last defender. Now Wasatch is regrouped around. And in the meantime, Crimson Slayer is riding the outside lane, sweeps by for 4 points. And Makeda's down just a Bad Cop alone, and those other blockers come in for help. Makeda's free. Crimson Slayer slams hard into a couple skaters. A few bodies go down, they're back up. And Slayer says, that's enough of that. Call the jam off.
All right, 50-point game. Wasatch is going to be looking to pull some big jams out of here, but it is still possible. There are time on the clock left for just a few more jams. They can do it. Mullet is out there. It's Mayasora. Mullet's had some couple big scoring jams here in the second half, so looking to repeat that, I'm sure. Mayasora, though, not to be denied, just slams right into the tripod of Wasatch. As Mullet goes to the penalty box, that'll allow them to still take that lead position. Maya's getting recycled back, but they're quick back on the track and through. They are your lead jammer. Under 3 minutes left to play. Mysore takes to the inside. Great offensive wall put up by Mob City. Coming through again, recycled back is Maya, just as Mullet approaches the pack and slams into the Mob City tripod. Shutterfly, good one-on-one blocking, knocks out Mullet. But Mullet does end up getting through, and Shutterfly draws a penalty for that as well. Myasaurus still trying to fight their way for points, calls it off. See what they ended up with. They ended up with a total of 7, I believe. Yes, 7 points for Mob City as we approach the 2-minute mark.
I'm seeing one blocker. Looks like one player from each team in the penalty box here at the start of this jam. Roll Arena is going to be jamming for Wasatch up against Apex Twin. And official timeout before things can get too exciting.
Yeah, minute 43 left in this game. And keep in mind, we do have one more game to go. For at started time is at 3:30. You're going to see a lot of these players back in action. And it looks like Mob City taking a team timeout. So let everybody breathe a little bit before we get right back into our maybe final 2-3 jams that we got left here. Right now, Mob City up 172 to Wasatch's 115.
And it looks like some good friendly chit chat there between the teams during this downtime. It's one of the things I really enjoy about the Junior Derby games. Now the whistle's on. Time to get back to business. And an official timeout. Now they're just playing with us.
Yeah. Had a whole lot of action happening, and now they're just giving a couple minutes for things to settle down before they can go right back at it for these final 100 seconds that they got left in the game or so. Right, Roll Arena and Apex Twin out there. The 3-on-3 blockers. Oh, here's some penalty whistles. That sends Roll Arena to the box. Apex Twin with a power jam advantage. And they are through for a lead. They control the clock. We'll see what they decide to do here, if they want to run down that game clock or score some points and call it off. Looks like we have a track cut call on Fluttershy of Mob City. Apex Twin hitting up against a tripod, finds, nice hit by Chameleon to knock them out to the outside. Roll Arena is back out on the track, fighting through and does get on through. They are clear of the pack, now on a scoring run. And Apex Twin opts to call that one off for scoring 3 points and 40 seconds and count and under on the game clock. And we have an official review being called that is going to stop the clock at 38 seconds. I don't know if they have an actual complaint on that last one, or if they're just using that, or if Wasatch was using that just to stop that clock. They do have one more team timeout at their disposal as well, if should their official review not go their way. And we have last minute dance party out on the track.
Worms all over the place here, folks. Oh, that is a look you don't want to be getting from your coach. Oh, we've got a verdict from that. Wasatch will not retain their official review. They were looking for a back block to be called against Mob City, and the refs declined that. So we are back to the action. Mullet jamming against Slam Punk. Mullet takes to the outside lane. Quick feet hung up a little bit by those blockers, but now Mullet is free on a scoring pass. And Slam Punk with some fancy toe work action makes it through the pack. And there they go. Mullet's coming through for 4 big points around the horn, and there is Slam Punk winging to the outside lane, and Mullet crashes into the defenders from Mob City. A little spin move to get through for 4 points, and Mullet is going to call off the jam. That's the end of the game. Give us just a minute here. Once that score changes to say official or final score, then you can come to the track. But until then, let's make sure all of the I's are dotted and T's crossed.
All right, that's our final rolling whistle. We have our final score of 179 to 123, Mob City over Wasatch. All right, yeah, definitely come out and congratulate these players for hard-fought game. Wasatch playing 2 games right in a row. And keep in mind, we have one more game to go at the Bonneville Beatdown. That is going to be Pepper in black against Salt in white. That is a matchup game between all the players that have been here at the Bonneville Beatdown. You do not want to miss that. That is slated to start at 3:30, and I will be back here with Shifty Hips to call that game as well. So we will see you back hopefully at 3:30 and get ready to go for our final game of the Bonneville Beatdown.
righty, folks. We are just about ready to get started with the last game of the tournament. Little salt and pepper mashup game. It might be the most exciting game we've had today, with players from all the teams. It's gonna be good.
All right, ready to go. I'm going to announce the team in the dark jerseys. Team Pepper, they are 024 Zen, 10 Sid Vicious, 101 Jinx, number 11 Painbow, 167 Virus, 21 Sugar Rush, 23 Brawly Pop, 30 Maya Sora, 32 Acid Rain, 365 Phoenix, 462 Barracuda, number 67 Tough Little Cookie, 73 Lithium, 813 Mullet, 84 Chemical X, number 9 Slam Punk, and 666 Waffles. We are off right away with Phoenix in the dark with the Jam Star going up against Track Mamba in white. Track Mamba out first. Phoenix now clear of the pack. Track Mamba on the scoring run. Around turn number 2, past 1, getting hit up. And now Phoenix is in the pack. Called off. We'll see what our final scores are here. We have 3 points for Team Salt, and looks like 0 for Pepper as we end our first jam.
And in the white jerseys for Team Salt, number 100, Fantastic Mr. Fox, 119, Liz in Fear, number 015, Violent Beatrix, 151, Beetle Kill, 202, Fatal Error, 22, Doombringer, 23, Belladonna, 29, Catatonic Bomb, 25, Apex Twin, 31, Trick or Treat, 345, Sleepy Pumpkin, 616, El Diablo, 7797-789, Stormy Sea, 88, Track Mamba, 9, Black Hole, and 2319, Roller Reina. And Apex Twin is jamming for the white team, and for Pepper, Slam Punk, who's made it out in front, but Apex Twin is catching up fast. Slam Punk smashes past the side of the defenders and calls the jam off. Looks like they did get all 4 points there.
Right, Trick or Treat in white up against Maya Sora in black. Salt down 1 skater in the penalty box. Both jammers to the inside. Isora taken out to the inside track. Good hits there.
Liz in Fear.
Liz in Fear with some really good inside blocker. But Myasora is out, but not just behind Trick or Treater. Trick or Treater is your lead jammer, though. And it is just about neck and neck race. I believe so. Both teams. No, it looks like 4 points go to Pepper and 0 to Salt.
Quick jam there. Close scores here, of course. Looks like we have an empty penalty box. So full set of 5 each team. We've got Sleepy Pumpkin jamming for Salt, and Phoenix is up for Pepper, and they're starting hip to hip at the beginning of the jam. That's the whistle. Phoenix takes to the inside lane. We've got 1 flying blocker, but Phoenix made it through and will be the lead jammer. Sleepy Pumpkin recycled back, but finds an opening in the inside lane, so Sleepy Pumpkin is through right when Phoenix gets to the back of the pack for 4 quick points and calls off the jam.
All right, quick jams to start this game off here. We have 616 in white. That is El Diablo. No, they are going to be a jammer switch. They have 797 Dash going up against Slam Punk in black. Now both teams starting up right up at that jam line. So going to have a lot of contact right at the beginning here. Both jammers are off. Slam Punk with a lot of weaving and juking and trying to get through, and does. For lead is here is Slam Punk. Dash to the outside. Now being held up by Pepper. On the scoring run now is Pepper. And Slam Punk calls that one off just as Dash just got through the pack there. So have another 4-0 jam in favor of Pepper.
And queued up, we've got El Diablo is going to jam for Salt, and Maya Sora is up for Pepper. And off they go. Maya Sora to the outside. Spin move, knocked out of bounds. El Diablo crashes through the wall of defenders and comes out in front as lead jammer. Some fancy footwork there by Maya Sora. Manages to stay upright and is through on a scoring pass as well. So they are on the move. El Diablo is trying to catch up to the pack. They're moving fast, trying to make some openings for El Diablo. El Diablo calls the jam off. Let's see, we've got 1 point score there. One for each jammer from that jam.
All right, Roll Arena in white and Phoenix in the dark color jersey. Penalty box is clear. Both jammers crushing it. It is Phoenix out first. Roll Arena being held up by Pepper's line, but now finds a way on the inside and through. Phoenix on the scoring run, closing in on the pack. Swings to the outside, gets on through, calls it off. See if they got all 4 points. They did.
Quick jams there. These jammers really making good use of the ability to control the clock. We're going to have Slam Punk up for the Pepper team and Catatonic Bomb for Salt. And here they go. Catatonic to the inside. And Slam Punk found a way through at the front. Nope. Catatonic Bomb is whipping around. Looks like that was a... Got a few skaters hit the deck here at the back of the pack. And Catatonic slips through at the beginning, or at the head of the pack, 4 points. And Slam Punk called the end of the jam.
Very quick jams here. Right now we have Pepper ahead 24-8. Mysore out there in the dark going up against number 15 in white.
Violent Beatrix.
Violent Beatrix. So it should be 0-1-5. I see. 0-1-5. Violent Beatrix for Salt is the jammer against Maya Sora. Both jammers slamming into their respective defensive walls. And a whole lot of shoving action at that pivot line now. Lead still open. Mysore goes down, back up on their feet. Pushing is Violent Beatrix for a lead. As one of the Salt pivot goes to the penalty box. On the scoring run now is Violent Beatrix. Mysore not clear of the pack yet. However, Violent Beatrix being brought and recycled back. Looking for some offensive help now is Maya. Still getting pushed by number 25. That is Apex Twin doing a really good job doing some one-on-one blocking on Maya. And that penalty gets called off, and looks like we have ourselves a power start. I saw the signal for a power star. Make sure of that. No, that is incorrect on my end. There is no. Looks like there's some people in the penalty box, but neither of them is a jammer.
And Phoenix is jamming for Pepper up against Doombringer for Salt, and Doombringer is out in lead. Sweeping around the bottom track here. Phoenix is still trying to get past that wall of Salt defenders. Doom finds an opening in the inside lane for 4 quick points. Phoenix shoved up against the rope but made it past. So Phoenix is now on a scoring pass, and Doombringer is in charge of the clock here with lead jam status. Tiptoes past some defenders, shoves through, gets those points, and calls the jam off. 8 big points for Salt, and looks like Phoenix was able to get 2 out of it for the Pepper team.
We have Track Mamba in white against Slam Punk in black. This should be a fun jammer watch, fun jammer duel here. These are 2 very interesting, quick, fast jammers that can weave their way through packs pretty well. So interesting to see who comes out on lead first here. Mamba to the inside. Go weaving back and forth with Slam. And now, a lot of going to the inside. Both jammers to the inside now, and Track Mamba being brought back, and it is going to be Slam Punk. That is going to be your lead jammer. Track still trying to find a way through. Big daylight on the inside. Slam Punk sees it and gets through for 4. And we have ourselves a star pass. Track Mamba passes it off to 202. That is fatal error. Meanwhile, Slam Punk making some good work on the track. 4 more points for Team Pepper. Being held up by Belladonna now is Punk, and the rest of the Salt team joins. Meanwhile, fatal error, putting his shoulder down, trying to get by Pepper. It is going to be recycled back. That was Barracuda with a hit out. Salt blocker goes to the penalty box. And now we have ourselves some good hard-hitting derby action. A lot of shoving going on. Fatal error still trying to get through. And Slam Punk is going to call that one off. They were able to score 12 points on that with Slam Punk, and man, they worked hard for all of those.
And lining up at the jam line, Apex Twin for Salt and Maya Sora for Pepper. The defenders settle down up against line, and got some bouncing bodies here. No one's making headway yet. Maya Sora found an opening on the inside, though. Quick footwork stays upright, and Maya Sora is the lead jammer. Apex with successful star pass to number 31. That's Trick or Treat. And with that, Pepper calls the jam off. Quick 4 points there for Pepper.
El Diablo out there against Phoenix. Phoenix in the dark, El Diablo in the light. Now both teams get up close to that jam line. Slamming right into the pack are both jammers. Phoenix, some footwork to the outside. Will they get lead? Yes, they will. It is Phoenix as your lead jammer. El Diablo fighting for it and gets through. Phoenix looking for some points. Slams in, calls it off. Drew a multiplayer call. That'll send one of the Salt players to the penalty box. All 4 points scored by Phoenix on that one. Really drilled themselves into the pack to get those.
We're going to have Slam Punk jamming for Pepper and Fatal Error up for Salt. And here they go. Both jammers take to the outside lane, shifting to the inside. Fatal Error is tiptoeing around. Almost made a pass, but looks like Slam Punk finds an opening to get through. Slam Punk is lead jammer. And we saw Fatal Error go flying out of bounds. Looks like they're coming back in. And Slam Punk got recycled back as well. Sees an opening in the outside lane, takes it. And there's Fatal Error trying to get past, but Slam Punk is going to end the jam before any points are scored for the Salt.
All right, we approach the halfway point of our first half. Dash and Light going up against Maya Sora and Dark. It's like Pepper will be, no, it'll be Salt starting with the blocker down at the penalty box. We are off. Dash to the outside, Maya to the outside. Both are stopped. Maya being drawn back. Dash putting his shoulder down into the Pepper tripod. Barracuda doing some offensive work for Maya. But it is going to be Dash that is out first for a lead. Maya out of the pack. Dash approaching the pack, looking for some points. Maya coming in for some points. Hard goes right into the tripod, does Maya. Dash calls that one off. 1 point for Salt and 0 for Pepper. So coming up 1-0 for the team Salt.
Phoenix will be jamming for Team Pepper, and looks like Trick or Treat is up for Salt. And the defenders are going to give a little breathing room here at the start of the jam. Off go the jammers. Trick or Treat through the inside, made it look easy, cut right through there. Is going to be the lead jammer. Phoenix is trying to dodge their way through the defenders to get out of the pack. Meanwhile, Trick or Treat has come to the back of the pack, ready to score some points. Goes low, gets past the defenders, past the last one, 4 points, and Phoenix made it through and will be on a scoring pass of their own. So here they come, and Trick or Treat is going to end the jam before Phoenix can get there to the pack.
Sleepy Pumpkin and White going up against Slam Punk and Dark. Both teams lining up right at that jam line. Want to halt that momentum right from the start. Sleepy to the outside, almost through, but it is Slam Punk that gets out first. Being recycled back by Mullet is Slam Punk. And meanwhile, making quick work of the pack is Slam Punk. 4 points on the board for Pepper. Slam Punk goes in, weaving around for more points. The Sleepy Pumpkin gets out. Now past the pack is Slam Punk. Sleepy Pumpkin in. Getting around on the outside for all 4 points is Sleepy Pumpkin. Slam Punk now coming in and around, looking for more points for Team Pepper. It's like have a multiplayer call. It's going to send one of the Salt team members to the penalty box. Sleepy Pumpkin, 4 more points. Slam Punk coming in. Looking for a screen, getting it. Calls it off. Looking for the whistle. There it is. Meanwhile, Sleepy Pumpkin throwing themselves into the pack. And they got 3 points out of that. Great job, Sleepy Pumpkin, not giving up to the very end.
Great jam. 16 points and 11. Pepper still maintaining the lead, but it's not a big lead as far as Derby goes. Violent Beatrix is going to be jamming in the light jersey for Salt. Mayasora is up for Pepper. And both jammers get squished between the blockers. Great defense by Rollerena, throwing Mayasora way out of bounds. Violent Beatrix back to the back of the pack. And Mayasora comes out in front as the lead jammer. Beatrix trying to get past. Comes down, takes a blocker with them. Mayasora spin move to get past the defenders just down to the pivot and got past for 4 points. So they are off. Violent Beatrix has made it through the pack and is on a scoring run. Here comes Mayasora to the back of the pack. Got a few defenders going down. And with a little spin around 180, Mayasora calls the jam off.
10 minutes left in our first half. And we have number 29 in white. That is Catatonic Bomb going up against Phoenix in dark. I think Pepper will be starting with one blocker down. All right, neither team's starting up at that jam line for a change, giving each jammers a little room to get a head of steam before slamming into the pack. Let's see who comes out first. It is Catatonic. No, it is Catatomic did come out first, but right behind them is Phoenix. And now we have a race around the track. Both teams showing great speed. Catatonic may reach the pack first and does. Calling in for points. Number 23, I believe that was Belladonna, knocks out Phoenix. Meanwhile, still fighting for points is Catatonic. Catatonic free of the pack. Meanwhile, Phoenix, one more to beat and does. 4 points each. Both of these jammers really fighting their way for these points here. Phoenix met with some resistance, jumps around it. Catatonic calls off. We have 3 points for Pepper, 1 point for Salt on that final run. So Pepper is up 7-5 total.
We've got Slam Punk going up against Fatal Error here at the jam line. The defenders are a ways off. They gradually creep back towards the jammers. There's our whistle. Slam Punk dodging to the outside, falls down amid some defenders, but pops right back up, pushing, shoved to the inside by the defenders. Salt. So both jammers going to take another go at it. Here goes Slam Punk to the outside. Fatal Error gets knocked out of bounds on the outside lane. Slam Punk squeezes through there. Will take the lead jam status, and there goes Fatal Error through the pack. So the pack is on the move. Here comes Slam Punk. Good shoulder hit there from Salt, and Slam Punk is going to end the jam. One point for Pepper from that last jam. Snuck one out.
All right, Track Mamba for Salt up against Mayasora for Pepper. Penalty box is clear now. Both teams are starting right up at that jam line, so it's going to be a fight for that lead right from the whistle. Maya to the inside and gets on through, but let's see, Track was right there. It is Maya that is lead. And Maya calls that one off. Wow, that was a burst of speed from both those jammers. Yeah. 0-0 jam, but still fun to watch for how quick that was.
Yeah, got everyone up to speed and then put it into it. So we're going to have Phoenix jamming for Pepper and El Diablo in the light jersey for Salt. And here they go. Phoenix to the outside. Finds a way through. Phoenix is going to be lead jammer. El Diablo goes down with some defenders, but back up on their feet. Still trying to get through on an initial pass. Phoenix is back, goes to the inside. Fancy footwork there, gets past a couple defenders and made it past the last one. So 4 big points for Phoenix. El Diablo getting shoved to the outside of the outside lane there and has to come in for another go. Bouncing off those defenders. El Diablo falls to the out of bounds. And Phoenix slips through for another 4 points. Looks like we got a penalty assessed to one of the Pepper blockers. So they'll spend a half minute in the penalty box. Phoenix squishes in there, gets past a couple defenders. They recircle, form up in front. And still fighting hard to get through. El Diablo has made it through for 4 points. And it looks like Phoenix did find a way through for 4 points of their own. And Phoenix will call the jam off. That'll bring Pepper's score to 93 and Salt to 41.
Trick-or-Treater is out there for Team Salt going up against, once again, we see Slam Punk for Pepper out there. And we are off. Trick-or-Treater with a quick burst of speed. Try to get up through, and does. Trick-or-Treater is lead. Slam Punk being met up by Fatal Air, but able to find a way through. Now it is Trick-or-Treater with a dip inside, slides out, calls it off, scores 2 points.
And Pepper's going to be down 1 blocker here at the start of this next jam. Maya Sora is jamming for Pepper, and Apex Twin is up for Salt. Both jammers eyeing the pack to see where they can find an opening. Both take the inside track. Apex Twin goes to the outside, finds a way through. Apex Twin is the lead jammer. Maya Sora squeezes around the outside, gets nudged out finally at the end. Recycled back as Apex Twin comes around for the first scoring pass of this jam. Good toe work there and makes it through the defenders for 4 points. Maya Sora's made it through too and will be on a scoring pass here. Apex Twin approaches the pack, zips by on the outside lane, calls off the jam. 1 foot and spinning backwards somehow called the jam off. 7 big points for Salt there.
All right, dash out for Salt. Phoenix for Pepper. Right now we have a 93-50 game. It's 2.5 minutes left in the half. Pepper in the lead and Salt is threatening. So both these jammers now slam into the pack. Fighting for that lead jammer position. Salt slightly ahead, but that does not mean that they're going to easily take this lead as Team Pepper is right there to rotate there. But no, it is Dash with some quick moves to the inside to get by all those Pepper defenders and take lead. And now Pepper's through the pack. That is Phoenix. Dash coming in hard. Calls it off, scores 2 points in doing so, and we are just about at 90 seconds left in our first half.
Lining up, we've got Doombringer for Salt and Slam Punk up for Pepper. Looks like the penalty box is empty, so everyone's on the track, but we have a team timeout called
It looks like it's an official review being called.
Official review. All right. That. We will sit tight till we see what's going on.
So this is the last game of our tournament this weekend. So once we get things going here, we'll still have about a minute left of game time to go. And then you can head over to the concession stand and get some Bonneville Beatdown merch to commemorate Bonneville Beatdown 2026 here at the Derby Depot. This will be the last one we hold at the Derby Depot since we're losing the space, unfortunately. And hopefully we can find a new one soon enough so we can keep hosting these tournaments.
And we want to thank the sponsors for our tournament, the Pie Pizzeria, been a longtime sponsor of roller derby in Salt Lake, 187 Killer Pads, the Derby Warehouse, and Dick's Sporting Goods. Great sponsors helping make this possible for our young people. Alrighty, we've got a verdict. The official review will be lost. They were looking for a cut track call, but the player in question did not go out of bounds. It just went down, so no penalty issued. They lose their official review, but with only a minute left in this half, they'll soon have another one back. Slam Punk out in front as the lead jammer, but here comes Doombringer right behind, catching up quick. Slam Punk going in a lot of speed there, slips through the outside to get 4 points and calls the jam off.
Oh, we got time for one more jam, at least one more jam on the clock. Sleepy Pumpkin back out there for Salt, going up against Maya Sora and for Pepper. Pepper starting right up at that jam line. Salt's gotten a little bit back, trying to catch these jammers. Maya Sora up front, 2 to beat, and does so. Some nice juking and weaving. It is Pepper with the lead. But Sleepy makes their way through. Maya now threatening to score. Takes to the inside track, slams hard against, I believe that was number 29. Catatonic Bomb, but able to get all 4 points. There is Maya Sora for Team Pepper. And that brings us to intermission. It is Team Pepper up 101 to Salt's 52. So game that is well within striking distance for Team Salt as when we come back in 15 minutes. Remember, visit the concession stand, buy your Bonneville Beatdown merch, and come back for the second half of the final game of the Bonneville Beatdown.
back to it. We've got El Diablo jamming against Painbow. And Painbow tiptoeing on the inside, tiptoed out of bounds. Same for El Diablo. Quick to get back in, though. Spin move by Diablo, gets past and will be the lead jammer. Coming around with a quickness here as Painbow takes another attempt to get past the pack. Theirs is an opening on the outside lane. So Painbow coming around on a scoring pass. El Diablo topples to the ground and calls the jam off before Painbow can get in there and get any points. Looks like 3 points there for Salt.
All right, some new jammers out there. We have 666 Waffles for Pepper. They're going up against Dash and White for Salt. Waffles to the inside, Dash to the inside. Waffles pushed out, but right back in. Dash putting a shoulder down, trying to bust through. Waffles with 2 to beat, up on top. Now joined by another Salt member. Dash stuck behind a tough tripod of Pepper. Meanwhile, Waffles being drawn back by Track Mamba and Belladonna. Lead is still open. This is going to be a tough jam here as a second jam of our second half. Keep in mind, all these players have been playing all weekend long. We have a multiplayer call that's going to send a Pepper blocker to the penalty box. Dash being recycled back. Waffle still pushing up on top, still trying to fight for that lead, and they are going to be drawn back. Right back on the track, though, are both of these jammers, still fighting to get that lead. We are past the 1 minute mark of this jam.
Tough
Seeing
defense.
some room is Dash, and they take it, and they are lead. Black Hole stopping Waffles down just past turn number 1. Now Dash on their scoring run. Past a couple of the Pepper blockers. And a successful star pass goes to Team Pepper, and that is going to be slam pumped with a lot of speed going through. Meanwhile, for all 4 points is Dash. Dash calls it off before Slam Punk can score any points. So Team Salt here with a pretty good showing on these first 2 jams of this second half. Looking to threaten that lead that Pepper had going for him.
Up next is Sleepy Pumpkin for Salt and Chemical X out there for Pepper. Here come the defenders. Meet them at the line. They're off. Both jammers take to the outside. Chemical X goes down. Sleepy Pumpkin almost made it past and did make it past the last defender. So Sleepy Pumpkin's going to be the lead jammer. Chemical X trying to find a way through. Dodging side to side. Get some help from their own teammates. Still stuck in traffic. Sleepy Pumpkin comes through the inside lane on 1 foot to score 4 points. And it looks like we've got a star pass for Team Pepper. So Phoenix will be the new jammer and wasting no time trying to catch up to the pack. Sleepy Pumpkin calls jam off on their way to the ground, but did make it before Phoenix was able to score any points. So 7 points for Team Salt, slowly chipping away at that lead.
Yeah, Salt on a bit of a run here in these last 3 jams. They're going up against Violent Beatrix for Salt. It's taking that jam star, going up against number 11. That is Painbow for Pepper. Painbow up on top and gets lead. Breaks the streak that Team Salt had going for it. Now Painbow now on a scoring run of their own. Violent Beatrix trying to find a way out of the Pepper blockers. Just about gets there, but it is Sid Vicious right there with the stop. Meanwhile, 4 points for Pepper as Painbow's coming around, looking to add to that score. Nice dip to the outside, takes a hit, stays in, 1 more to beat, and 4 more points. Violent Beatrix has made their way through. Painbow on another scoring run. By 1 defender. They call that one off. They were able to just score that 1 point, but that is a 9-0 run for Team Pepper.
So far, both teams been able to stay out of the penalty box. Apex Twin is going for Salt to the jam line, going up against Zen for Pepper. Defenders are right there. There's the whistle. Both jammers go to the outside. Zen tries to bully through the middle. Apex Twin sees an opening on the inside and takes it. Zen with the lead jammer, but look out. Here come, Apex Twin for the lead jammer, but here comes Zen right on their tail. Pack is moving fast. Who's chasing who at this point? Apex Twin trying to catch up. Zen keeping pace. Round and round we go. Apex Twin decides to call it off before Zen can get up there and score. Looks like 1 point there for Apex before the end of the jam.
All right, Trick or Treater out there for Salt going up against Waffles of Pepper. Both teams starting up at the pivot line. Now drawn back towards the jammers. And we are off. Oh, Waffles to the outside. Quick feet and through for lead. The Trick or Treater is right there. See what Waffles does with lead as they round turn number 1. Head slam into the pack. They call that one off. No points for either team on that.
Close game here for the final game of the tournament. We have Fatal Error jamming for Salt and Painbow up for Pepper. The defenders settle back down right up close to the line. There's the whistle. Fatal Error gets nudged out of bounds on the outside. Painbow dodging left and right, takes it to the inside, and Painbow is the lead jammer. Bodies hit the floor back here as Fatal Error ducking around and makes it through the pack. So, little flying jump for Painbow and calls the jam off before Fatal Error can get close to the pack. Great quick 4 points there for Pepper.
During the break, they were practicing those apex jumps, and looks like that practice paid off there. Dash back out for Salt up against Mullet for Pepper. All right, dash to the outside. Mullet trying to shoulder their way right through the middle. Dash up front. Mullet not far behind, but trapped in a vicious tripod of Salt defenders. And yeah, it is going to be Team Salt that gets that lead. That is Dash out in front. Mullet being dropped back. On a scoring run now is Dash. Dash has their own problems to deal with, and now we have a successful star pass. No, not a star pass. They're going to hand that back. Now the star pass is completed, and a slam pump is your jammer for Pepper. That is going to force Salt to call. But they did get all 4 points on that, did Dash. So successful run for Team Salt.
So 43-point lead for Pepper. 20 minutes of game time left. Plenty of time for the score to change. For lead to change, we have Waffles jamming in the dark and El Diablo in the light. There they go. El Diablo cuts to the middle. Waffles trying to get behind their pivot there, but El Diablo's out in front to be the lead jammer. And Waffles ducking around the outside, getting past a couple of them, but now they put the brakes on that. Looks like El Diablo's got some trouble there and gets past the last defender with a little spin move for 4 points. Waffles crashes into and over a defender. I'm sorry, that was Phoenix into and over and draws a penalty. So Phoenix, with the star cap in hand, is headed to the penalty box. El Diablo weaving through the defenders for 4 more points. So a minute left in this jam, and the Pepper team without a jammer. El Diablo crashes into the defenders, takes one down. He pops back up. El Diablo pushing hard against those last 2 in the defensive line. Looks like they got El Diablo out of bounds, so they're going to get recycled way on back here. Eating up some time for the Pepper defender to get in. El Diablo hits the deck. Phoenix is back from penalty town. A spin move gets through the pack and will be on a scoring pass now. But El Diablo is going to pull the plug on that, end it before things get too far. 12 big points for Salt in that jam, cutting the lead down by a good third.
All right, Sleepy Pumpkin for Salt against Chemical X for Pepper. We are ready to go, jam number 10. Chemical X, quick to the outside, but no, stopped right there. You get the name on that is Beetle Kill with the stop. Meanwhile, Sleepy Pumpkin to the inside. It is Chemical X that is out for Pepper. Lead to Pepper. Now Sleepy Pumpkin's out. Chemical X coming around. Onto the outside now, up the middle. Being halted by the Salt defenders. Pumpkin coming in. That was called off. See if before any points were scored. 2 points scored by Pepper, 0 by Salt. So 2-0 in favor of Team Pepper.
That was an interesting start there. It looks like Pepper failed to field one of their skaters, and that means if they're not on the track when the whistle blows to begin the jam, then they are just down one person. So now they got the full complement out there. Pepper defenders right up on the line. No breathing room for Violent Beatrix. And Painbow as the other jammer. Painbow getting shoved to the inside. Beatrix looking for an opening on the outside. Pushing, shoving, goes to the inside. Can't quite make it. Painbow putting on the fancy footwork, dodging around, spinning past the last defender. Painbow is the lead jammer with amazing footwork to get past there. Violent Beatrix, little backward skating action, gets past their jammer, or their defenders, and off they go. Painbow slips through for 4 more points and closing in fast on the pack. Painbow to the back of the pack, eyeing the skaters to find a way through. Fake to the inside, goes to the middle, come up short. Juke past the last defender, spin move, get around, 4 more points for Team Pepper. Violent Beatrix trying to shove through those defenders. They keep reforming around. Meanwhile, Painbow flying in from the side, but went a little too far and is recycled back to the back of the pack. And there you go again. Violent Beatrix held up by a tough tripod of Pepper. And Painbow manages to get through for 4 more points. Coming around, zipping past the defenders quickly for 4 more. Bodies hit the floor there in the pack. Beatrix goes to the ground, comes back up. Looks like Beatrix drew a penalty there. So they are headed to the penalty box. And Violent Beatrix is going to ride the rest of this jam out.
All right, penalty start for Team Pepper after a big 20-2 run there by Painbow. That is Mullet taking the star for Team Pepper.
And power start for Team Pepper.
Salt's down a defender and a jammer at the beginning here. Both teams starting way up front. Mullet's got a bit of speed on them, though, so they're looking to burst through, and they do, and take lead quickly. You know, all blockers are out there for Team Salt now. Mullet calling for some offense. Salt racing forward, though, not letting that offense overtake them. Good strategy. Now Mullet's into the tripod, slamming into it. Got a Track Mamba, Belladonna, and looks like El Diablo there to stop him. It's a pretty solid wall there. Mullet spins on through, though, for the first 4 points.
Oh,
no, there was a penalty on that. So
Toe went out of
Violent
bounds
Beatrix out on the track as Mullet goes to the box, and this is going to go the full 2 minutes. Still 1 minute left in this jam. So no points on the scoreboard for Team Pepper. So this is a chance for Salt to put themselves up on the board and come ahead on this jam. And on through is Violent Beatrix. Now on the scoring run. Mullet back out on the track. Both defenses ready for those jammers as they slam into those walls. Mullet on their feet. Beatrix down but not out. Right back out on the track. Oh, whoa. Beatrix sees the inside, takes it, steps on right through, but Mullet finds a way on the outside.
Oh,
and Mullet with a hard hit. And we're going to call this one off.
A little injury on the track here. Let's let the medics come tend to the skater. And back to the action. Waffles will be jamming for Pepper. And Black Hole up jamming for Salt. Quick feet from Black Hole gets through as the lead jammer, but Waffles is right on their tail. Whipping around the corners here. Picking up speed. Into the pack they go. And Black Hole smashes into the defenders and calls the jam off. Looks like 2 points went to Salt and 4 to Pepper. Fast and furious jam there.
All right, Apex Twin out there for Salt up against Zen for Pepper. Penalty box is clear. Track Mambo with some offense at the start. Zen juking around, trying to find a way. Well, Zen shoulder down, but no, El Diablo is right there with the hit out and the recycle, and it is Apex Twin with the lead. Acid Rain giving some offense to Zen. Meanwhile, on their scoring run is a Apex Twin. Already got some points on the board, trying to clear the track. Hard hit into Acid Rain, and they get clear of the pack for 4. We have a successful star pass. Acid Rain is now the jammer for Pepper. Meanwhile, on another scoring run is Apex Twin. 4 more points, 8 on the board for Salt. Quick to the outside is Apex Twin. 12 on the board. Acid Rain still trying to find a way through. One to beat. No, is brought out by Track Mamba. Apex brought out as well. Both jammers being brought way back past the jam line. And now the burst of speed comes Acid Rain, and they are through the pack as 4 more points were scored by Apex. Apex opting to keep on running this jam. Calls it off after getting 1 point on the board, I believe, yes. So that will be 17 total points for Team Salt.
Big rally there from Salt. We're looking at a 36-point difference now. Just under 10 minutes of game time left. Got an empty penalty box. Painbow jamming against Catatonic Bomb. There they go. And Painbow pushing to the outside, Bomb to the inside. Painbow still up. It's shoved back, but skates are still up, so they are still upright. Catatonic Bomb going side to side to try to get through. Painbow found an opening and takes the lead jam status. Bomb with quick footwork gets past the defenders, so Bomb is on the move. Painbow slips through the inside lane, scores 4 quick points, and calls the jam off to push their lead up to 40 points ahead now.
Chemical X out there for Team Pepper going up against Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat to the outside, quickly taking that lead for Team Salt. Chemical X to the inside, weaving back out. Brought down by El Diablo. Trick or Treater on the scoring pass, tries to make the apex jump, doesn't clear it. All skaters on the track now. Chemical X on through the pack as Trick or Treater scores 4 points and calls that one off.
So Team Salt eating away at that lead just a little bit more. We're going to have Sleepy Pumpkin jamming for Salt, and Waffles is up for Pepper. Looks like the defenders are not going to be allowing much breathing room here at the start for the jammers. A little bit of shifting before the whistle. There they go. Sleepy Pumpkin pushing and shoving, taking down the pivot of Pepper. They're quick to get back up. And Sleepy Pumpkin finds an opening there. Sleepy Pumpkin for the lead jammer. Waffles getting shoved around back here. Takes another go at it. Trying to get past that wall, but can't quite make it. Sleepy Pumpkin falling over defender. Back up on their feet. And didn't quite make it through on the inside, so Sleepy Pumpkin's recycled back to the back of the pack. And Waffles has made it through the pack and is on a scoring pass now. Pumpkin looking for an opening. Sees Waffles and calls the jam off. I think Waffles might have gotten some points in there, though. 3 for Waffles there.
All right, Dash back out for Salt against Zen for Pepper. It's like Salt's going to be down a blocker. All right, we are right back into it. Dash to the inside. Zen momentarily to the outside, but opts to go for that inside track. Finds the hole, gets through. It is Zen for lead for Pepper. Zen, some openings there, crashes hard into the pack. Gets down, right back up. Momentum halted at turn number 1. Got some points on the board, but not free of the pack. Meanwhile, it is Dash fighting hard. As Fatal Air is going to bring back Zen all the way back down to the pivot line. Dash really putting the shoulder in and pushed it. But Zen is going to put up 4 points for Team Pepper. Meanwhile, the penalty box has cleared out. Zen slides in, gets to the outside. Now weaving back and forth. Dash having Mullet and Chemical X to beat just past turn number 2. Dash sees the inside and takes it. They are through the pack, and that is going to force Zen to call that off. They did get all 4 points on that, so that is an 8-point jam for Zen as we close into the final 4.5 minutes of our game.
Looks like an official review being called by Team Salt.
Definitely stay in your seats for the rest of this game, but before leaving, make sure you get those tournament T-shirts to commemorate Bonneville Beatdown 2026. Those are available at the concession stand. You do not want to leave without one. So there's only so many shirts left that are available, so you want to make sure you get one in your size. Buy one for some friends at home, too, that couldn't make it, or maybe just having to watch it secondhand, or they'll have to hear your stories about what kind of games were going down here, and you can give them a T-shirt and they can wear that and tell everyone how hardcore junior roller derby is.
And speaking of hardcore junior roller derby, in 2 weeks, our juniors are going to be traveling to Fontana for another tournament. Go support them if you can travel. That same weekend on the March 28th, BSR, the Beehive Skate Revolution, will have their first home team game here in the Derby Depot. A lot of good derby coming up. You won't want to miss it. Alrighty. So we've got a verdict. Salt will retain their review. They're looking for a cut track call on the jammer, and that did happen. So that is that. And out in the front, Apex Twin flying ahead will be the lead jammer. And the defenders take off. Apex Twin zigging and zagging, but knocked out of bounds there at the end by number 11. Great defense there by Painbow. So Apex Twin back at it, found an opening there. And here comes Zen back from penalty land, trying to get through on the initial pass. Apex Twin tries to fly over the apex and lands in it. Has to go back to the back of the pack and try again. Zen's having some trouble getting past all this traffic, but not to be stopped. They are going to try again. Apex Twin slips past the last defender for 4 more points. And we do have a star pass complete, so Painbow is the new jammer for Pepper, and Apex Twin calls jam off. Can't blame him for not wanting to have a foot race here at the end of the game against Painbow.
All right, Phoenix back out for Pepper, and we have a new jammer for Salt, Belladonna, number 23. All right, Phoenix pushing out front, but it is Belladonna that gets out first. Phoenix is right behind, though. Your lead is Belladonna, Team Salt. Now it is a race. Both teams roaring around that track. Belladonna reaches the pack, slams into it, calls it off. Able to get 1 point out of that for Team Salt.
All righty, we're looking at 2 minutes and change left on the game clock. Chemical X is going to be jamming for Pepper up against El Diablo for Salt. And defenders settle into their positions. There's the whistle. Off they go. Chemical X to the outside. Diablo to the inside. Hip check there from Mullet, but Diablo is still up and running. Diablo is the lead jammer. Chemical X takes a tumble, pops right back up, back down with his pivot from Salt. Diablo pulled up short by the Pepper defenders. Little side-to-side action, shoved into the inside. Chemical X is up and at him, made it through the pack. Looks like we've got 1 Pepper blocker going to the penalty box. So, Chemical X on a scoring run, slips through the inside for 4 points. El Diablo's coming around now for another scoring run. Scoring pass, slams into the wall of Pepper defenders. Little help from the blockers. Chemical X slips through unnoticed there, gets 4 more points. Diablo's got through, gets their points, and calls off the jam with under a minute left on the game clock.
Yeah, we have time for at least 1 more jam. Painbow out there for Pepper, going up against number 31 of Salt. That is Trick or Treat.
And Pepper Jammers, or Pivot, is still in the penalty box.
All right, we are off on this possibly last jam of the game. Painbow to the outside. No, track cut for Painbow. So this is going to be an advantage for Salt as they take lead. They control the last 2 minutes of this game. Swinging around. Nice moves by Trick or Treater to dodge some blockers. Not able to get past the Mullet of but that is draws a directional penalty against Mullet. So Trick or Treater, I believe, has gotten all 4 points. Now just needs to get free of the pack. Salt's reforming quickly in front of them, and Painbow comes right off the bench, whips right on through, and that is going to force a call off. That is going to be your game. Our unofficial score as it stands is Pepper 167 to Salt's 134.
And folks, wait until that score changes to say final, and then you can come up to the track. That is it. That whistle means it's official. Come on up. Let's show some love for these athletes. Thanks for coming out to watch with us today. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, make sure to pick up your Bonneville beatdown t-shirts on your way out. Congratulate all these skaters for their hard work over the last 2 days. Today especially has been a lot of fun to watch and a lot of fun to call.
Yep.
Yeah, make sure to drive safe when you head back home tonight, and hopefully we can see you here in the future.